Lucky Leo comes in, says, I think it's a mistake not drafting a quarterback in the first round. I understand helping Rodgers next year, but the Jets need to take care of their future. Just my opinion. Green Bean, where do you stand on drafting a quarterback in the earlier parts of this round? Because we'll say first round, right? Are there certain circumstances? Are you thinking top 10 pick on a quarterback? Are you thinking trade back into the back of the first round, maybe a trade down? I feel like there's a lot of different circumstances that could revolve around the quarterback decision that it would have to be on a case by case sort of basis for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's weird because I don't necessarily reside on one side over there. If I had to pick right now, I would say Aaron Rodgers is here. Do everything you can to make sure that this last year or two with Aaron Rodgers is a success. That's where I would, if I had to make a choice right now, I would. But that said, depending on what we can do in free agency, I mean, let's say Joe Douglas really does secure some solid, legit offensive lineman. We get, a left tackle, a new left guard, and some depth, and we still got to use, a third or and a fifth on lineman. But we look really good going into the draft, and we don't have to use that first on an offensive line. Okay, then I would be all for taking a quarterback and having him have the opportunity to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for at least 1 year. I think that's the way it should be, man. I get that with the new, the way contracts are structured with the fifth-year option, that starting young quarterbacks is kind of the way we do it now. But for many, many years in the NFL, it was the wisdom was bringing in a quarterback and letting him sit. That was what everybody did most of the time. And I still subscribe to that. I think that's a healthier way to do things. And so if we have the opportunity, look, it's worked in Green Bay, dude. With Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love's having an up and down season. But I'll tell you what, he's looked friggin' pretty good on Thanksgiving. And so I think that process would be something I would entertain, but not at the behest of going into this, at the risk, I should say, of going into the season with no offensive line, depending on Becton and some scrub, middling free agent guy. I don't want to do that. So it all depends.
Matt, what about you? What do you feel about the quarterback situation in round one?
Now we want to talk about fear. My fear going into next year is that they're going to rely on, they'll bring back Mekhi Becton to be a starting offensive tackle, and they'll sign Aaron Rodgers' friend, David Bakhtiari, the other starting tackle, and have two ticking time bombs at tackle again, just like you did this past year in 2023. So I understand the thought of trying to fix the offensive line and wide receiver in free agency. I don't think you'll be able to do enough of that for me to then say, okay, we're fine. You don't need to use that, we'll call it top 15 pick on, a wide receiver or offensive lineman. You could use it on a developmental guy. I think it's going to have to be for something that could impact the 2024 offense. Whether that, again, is a wide receiver, offensive line. My preference is offensive line, but I can't justify taking a first-round quarterback when you are supposed to be in this window of going for it with Aaron Rodgers.